Okay, so guys, we recorded a great video with Nima. We went through all of the teams. We gave our analysis, but we got a new mic, and you probably hear the setup now, and we didn't turn it on.
Rookie mistake, right?
Better now than tomorrow, right?
What's tomorrow?
Anyway, so having said that, we got ourselves some juice boxes. Not sponsored by Capri Sun.
We mean business, but if you guys are,
just to make,
send us a little email.
Just to make ourselves feel better, we got some juice boxes, and we're gonna run through pretty quick because it's a little bit later now than when we originally filmed, and talk about the games, some of which we saw, some of which just giving the result. So first one we'll do is Roma Atalanta. So Roma Atalanta. You saw more.
Yeah, I saw more. This game was more Roma. Roma were their own enemy, basically.
Too close to me.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Roma were their own enemy, basically. They couldn't finish, and they only got a draw out of this.
How did Atalanta get this draw?
You know, because Roma let them get this draw. That's why Roma had chances, and they just couldn't finish. I feel like it's the same Roma we always
came out.
Yeah, he came in after. He came off afterwards. It was. I'm not sure if it was more of a precaution than anything. Spalletti said.
Everyone was talking about how Totti came in and he was like much more creative than like anyone else they had.
I feel like it's always like that. Totti always gives 100% when it comes in, but it's just same old Roma. They just couldn't finish their chances. And Atalanta were playing defense.
Golini played for Atalanta.
For Atalanta.
I played against him.
That's right, in Viareggio.
Yeah, a year ago, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah. So what else happened?
Atalanta, same old Atalanta. They were fighting, but towards the end, they were just parking the bus, to be honest. And they wanted a tie at the end of the day, and they didn't let Roma score.
They screwed up big time, Roma. And now you lost second place because Napoli got the win.
They didn't lose second place. They lost some points between Napoli and Roma. Now there's only 2 point difference.
And 8 point difference with Juve too.
And 8 point, yeah.
So we'll say that Pescara Juve. I watched that game. Basic Juve. Smart. Allegri played everyone, which people got mad at, and I got kind of mad at because Dybala got hurt.
Was it stupid or
Muntari hit him hard? Why is a genius? He risked Higuain, Dybala, Cuadrado.
Everyone was saying rest him, but he was like, let me trust my players. I want to play a full lineup.
Everyone's a lot of mistakes.
A game's a game, and you can't blame him for that.
Dybala got hurt. He got tackled by Muntari. Then he went down, he was limping, and then a few minutes later he said,
I think he'll be good. I think they're just trying to scare all the Juventini a little bit.
There was a video afterwards when he was walking out. He didn't have crutches on. He wasn't limping too bad, which is good. But Barcelona's in like 4 days. Yeah, 4 days.
Yeah, 4 days. I think he's going to make it.
That's a little bit scary, and I would have rather the rest of them, but whatever. Juve got the job done, and it's basic Juve. Going 8 points up with that Roma loss, which is... Yeah, if the league wasn't over,
Szczesny was saying, he was like, if it's pretty much over. He said himself.
Yeah, we've known it. The thing is, we've known it's over.
To say it like that, I mean, they're doing it to them. They're shooting themselves in the foot.
Torino tied with Crotone.
Listen, oh my God.
But Belotti scored.
Belotti scored. I was telling Marco this before. I got mad. I'm just disappointed in Torino's season as a whole. They're not playing good. Their defense is bad.
To Crotone. 1-1.
Were like what?
They did beat Inter last week.
That's true.
Maybe they got that little hype train.
I don't know. That was just a fluke against Inter. But
who cares? Belotti scored.
As long as Belotti's scoring, I mean, hopefully he wins Capocannonieri. They messed up this season. They had some great talent.
He scored on a penalty kick. Yeah, Belotti. Cagliari beat Chievo 4-0. What's wrong with Chievo?
Well, okay, let's talk about Cagliari because Cagliari. We all know how when they score, they know.
Your boy did good.
Yeah,
your boy Taxidis did good. I'm not gonna lie, I saw a little bit of it.
He's been playing good 2-3 past games for Cagliari. He's been in the starting lineup, very good. But yeah, Chievo has been falling the past few games, very disappointing.
You know why? I think it's at this point in the season where they know they're safe from relegation. They know they're not gonna get Europe, and they're like, whatever. Let's just go for whatever.
They're just chilling in mid-table. Exactly.
That's what I think. Palermo freaking tied to Bologna.
I know Bologna's having a bad season, but I expected them to be at least Palermo.
I'll tell you why this is bad. This is bad because Empoli freaking beat Fiorentina somehow 2-1.
Like it was going to make a difference.
Empoli was freaking safe.
But Empoli was always safe. They always had a good 7-8 point cushion. Let's be honest, Mark. Palermo weren't going anywhere. Empoli were always going to be that play.
It'll be funny to see Baccaglini and Tacopina because Venezia got promoted today to Serie B. They're gonna play each other. We'll see if they can get back.
Do you think Venezia could go to Serie next season straight?
Too much. We'll see what they do, but I think it's a little bit too much. But yeah, Fiorentina 2-1. They lost last minute to freaking their own teammate, their former teammate and captain Pasquale scored a penalty kick. Tatarusano went the same way. I thought that was pretty funny because they probably done like a lot of penalties together. But yeah, Fiorentina scoring up.
Fiorentina, man, and they're playing at the Artemio Franchi at home. That's pretty
El Kaduri scored for Empoli, and then Teo scored for Fiorentina. And then 93rd minute, Pasquale. Kalinic got a red card. He's probably protesting or something. What other game we got? Genoa Lazio 2-2.
Let's talk about what's going on in Genoa.
You reach. His first game back under Mandolini, they never do anything. Very safe, boring. They get a 2-2 against a good Lazio side. Why did they ever sack Juric? He didn't deserve to be sacked.
They sacked Juric because it wasn't even his fault. First off, they sold the best players. Bedin was injured. They weren't doing good, and there was more of frustration and emotion. So they sacked him, and then later on they came to the senses and brought him back.
Simeone has not scored with Mandolini. Juric comes back. This guy scores. You see him celebrating. He was going nuts.
Genoa should have got the win though. At the end, Lazio scored. What was it? The last few minutes of the game.
91st minute, Lazio scored. No, Bia scored a penalty. He missed the penalty and then he got the rebound. Who else scored? Pandev, again, he scored with his head.
Like crazy.
He celebrated like crazy.
He ripped off his shirt.
He went Champions League final. He's thinking he was at Inter in 2010 again. Yeah, he scored. He put the ball through. Who's the keeper for Lazio now?
Lazio's
Strakosha. It was Strakosha this game. Yeah, he put it through his legs. And then there was a lot of complaining actually from some Lazio fans. We didn't see this game. I think there was a foul on Biglia in the box, and they wanted a penalty. And Inzaghi after the game actually said that we tied this because of the ref.
He was mad at the ref. There's no excuse.
We don't know. We didn't see the game.
Lazio, no, I don't know.
What if this referee gave a penalty in that box, or it should have been another box?
Lazio have been playing good, but now they're slowing down a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, they're slowing down.
How did our boys Sampdoria lose 2-1 to Sassuolo?
I would have put money on Sampdoria. Sassuolo were always so disappointing, and they always get a surprise victory when you least expect it.
Now they are, but in Europa League, of course, they don't get those surprise wins. Sheik got the goal on this one, where he took a bullet to the face. There's a mole mark on his face currently.
He played the partnership with Quagliarella up from...
Did you see the goal? No, did you see the goal? Okay, I don't remember who shot it. I'm going to try to guess right now. I think it was Barreto. It was either Barreto or Torreira. He took a long shot, like one of those FIFA shots that you take that hits the roof, you know, one of those. And it hit freaking Sheik's face and completely went in the wrong direction.
Still a goal.
And went to the top.
Still
this is what he says.
It counts as much as a bicycle kick, right?
That's true. De Rossi had a bicycle kick today, but hit the post.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
That's right.
Oh, Acerbi did the Salt Bay.
I didn't see that.
He celebrated. It was I think it was a 2-1. I know, but he's a little bit, old school Italian. He finds it now. Salt Bay. Come on, there we go. Yeah, he did it. I feel like Ragusa had a cool. Oh, Ragusa! When he celebrated, he kicked the flag.
Okay, that's
come on, bro. Basic. Not everyone can be Salt Bay. Napoli beat Udinese 3-0. Udinese defended. I watched this game. They were defending good in the beginning, and then Napoli were just really smart in the second half and went down the middle. They scored one goal, and then boom.
I mean, Udinese parked the bus first half. And then they conceded like minutes in the second half. And Caronese's can't save all of them. He better go to Napoli.
How do you know it wasn't Caronese's fault? You didn't see this game.
I didn't see the goals though.
That's true.
And the ball went through like butter. It was pretty bad.
I know, I agree with you.
Napoli, listen, get that.
I just don't like that you assume.
No, I did see the goals.
Oh yeah, Caronese's to Napoli. You would do it?
Yeah, I do it.
I told Michael that
Caronese. Very good defense. They're making him look bad.
They're making him look bad.
Udinese, check it out.
Udinese is another one of those teams like Chievo where they're content already where they are under Del Neri. That they're like, we're not getting relegated, so that's why they didn't try against Napoli. They didn't try. They were just defending most of the time. They didn't even go for it at all. Not even a little bit. Against Juve, remember they went for it?
Right now. Get out.
It's true, yeah, but Lazio's not in 15th place though.
That's true.
But yeah, one thing I want to know, Napoli's second goal. Mertens lost the ball in the back. Get that Mertens, the Napoli stat that you found before. Remember you were telling me about? Anyway, Mertens lost the ball. I think Hamsik lost the ball when it was 1-0 for Napoli. Mertens worked his ass off, made a tackle in the midfield, won the ball back, played it, and then Napoli scored. I think it was Alan. Alan put a bullet in, 2-0. That completely killed the game off, and that is credit to Dries Mertens, man. He's not a freaking number 9, or in his interview, he recently said he's become one, but he didn't start out in this position. And he's, you gotta give him credit for what he's done. I love that work ethic. I love the way he did that. That's really good for him.
We always give him more credit than sometimes it's offered. He's playing in an out of position. He's taking up place of Pavoletti and Milik. Their prime strikers are supposed to be playing in his place because he's playing so good.
Pavoletti got screwed. That Mertens did so good in his position that they couldn't switch him to anything else. I think that's what happened.
He did have his chances in the beginning, so let's not be like, I feel bad for him.
But you can't take out Dries Mertens what he's doing because he's doing so good. Read the stat.
Okay, there's a stat now. Napoli are the only team in Europe in the top 5 leagues with 4 players on 10+ league goals. That's insane.
4 players with
10+ goals.
You see, without Higuain, they're less predictable.
They're more diverse.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. If Higuain was still here, it'd only be Higuain there. Everyone else wouldn't have double digits. The goals are just coming from every direction, which is good. We talked about this.
Well, we didn't talk about it. I thought you were talking about the old edit that we did. 2-point difference between them and Roma. I've been saying personally that even though Roma is in second place, I've always thought Napoli are a better team, to be honest. I think that under Sarri, I think that they play beautiful football. Not just that, but for me personally, if Roma and Napoli play again now, I think Napoli would win. Just me personally. I know you disagree.
I know what you're saying. I think Napoli do have potentially a better squad, but I do feel like Roma are more consistent when it matters. I feel like Napoli slip up a little bit more than Roma does, because we do know Roma also slip up.
I agree that Napoli is not always clinical, but I believe that they're getting to the next level. I really could see Napoli getting to the next level. Where Roma, I'm still confused. They still don't have the leadership with Spalletti that's gonna go. It looks 80% will say that he's going to leave because he said, if I don't win anything, I'm going. It's 8 points now between Juve, so he's not winning Scudetto. He's out of Coppa Italia. He's out of Europa League. They didn't make Champions League. And I think if he goes, now Roma's looking everywhere like, what are we going to do? You know?
And there's a few players that's why I think Napoli leaving for sure.
Napoli have more of a head on their shoulders where they've got extremely young midfielders, extremely young players. I know the Insigne, I believe his deal is going through. He's going to renew.
He's going to be the most paid Napoli player.
And they've got some stuff that's going in their favor. That's just me personally, and I think Sarri's just going to keep learning this team, and he really is a top manager. And then, of course, the biggest game today, the 6:30 a.m. Kickoff to target the Asian markets. It was 6:30 in the morning for us, 12:30 kickoff over there in Italy. But it didn't waver the atmosphere at all. Actually, it was a pretty sick atmosphere.
It was an amazing atmosphere. The tifo was nice. Both sides, Inter and Milan had amazing things. There were smoke bombs. It was awesome. The stadium was packed and the atmosphere was amazing.
It was awesome. Awesome. The smoke bomb were pretty cool. I'm not really in favor of them, but they did it in a safe manner, which I like.
Nice.
And it was beautiful.
It was very nice.
And the fans even, the Inter fans held the banner for the early kickoff. They liked the 12:30 kickoff. It definitely worked for the Asian markets, and this was the first game that both Milan clubs are Chinese owned. We saw the directors there, we saw their new president, their owners inside the stands. And it was an absolute spectacle for the new Asian market that they're targeting, and also just in general. I think they put on a good show for people who are watching Serie A for the first time. We deeper into the match. It's more important.
Because this game, I thought it was so exciting from start to finish, and there was a nice little comeback. Very strange.
Let's start out with the beginning.
In the first half.
So for me, Milan was playing very good. Milan was very strong.
10-15
they were
minutes,
constructive.
they were attacking.
But it was too much AC Della Fall. That's what I'm going to say. I said it in the video that we filmed that the audio didn't come out good. But for me, too many times, Milan were just relying on Della Fall. He was outpacing his man. He outpaced Medel.
He was outpacing his own teammates. That's why he was always by himself. He didn't have anyone to pass it to.
He beats his man 90% of the time. He gets there. He could have finished a few times where he should have. But it's too reliant on him. I remember one time specifically, he went all the way down to the line. He tried to cut it back into the middle, and Bacca, who stands around for 90 minutes, is just nowhere to be seen as a striker.
He was buying him time. He was going around players. He was like, where are you guys? I'm trying to pass it.
It to me, is very, very poor. I even thought Jose Sosa, who I'm a critic of, he was doing good in the first half. For me, Milan was doing good in the first half. Besides Bacca, I'm not even considering him because honestly, I know we're hard on him, but he deserves to be hard on.
He was invisible today, I think.
But like 10 or 15 minutes until the first half ended, Inter completely changed the game around. I'll tell you exactly, 36 minutes, we were right. 15 minutes before, Candreva gets this ball from Gagliardini. Gagliardini made a few mistakes, but he picked himself up, sent this Pirlo-esque ball to Candreva. Might have been centimeters offside, but how can you argue this?
No, you can.
And Candreva finished this off beautifully. A much tougher finish than it looks like.
I didn't think he was going to chip it over. I thought he'd do anything. And Donnarumma was like clueless. It went right over him. Like, I didn't.
You're not blaming Donnarumma.
No, I'm not blaming it. I was surprised that he popped it over him so nicely.
Took his shirt off, and what are the hell are those circles on his back?
Yeah, you saw that too.
Yeah. Wait, looks like a tarantula or something.
Why did he take his shirt off so early? It was so early in the game. I guess he got excited.
My boy got excited. He didn't think he was going to score.
But that was unexpected from him.
Very unexpected.
So clinical, and Milan crumbled a little bit. Their defense on the counterattack, their fullbacks weren't guarding Candreva at all.
I agree with you. And Icardi actually scored a minute before the first half ended, really proving that they were so clinical. Perisic did amazing. I think he had a very good game. He was then subbed off, which is controversial. But Inter were clinical. They were not playing the better game. And for me, I actually thought Milan had a very good first half. They did two bad mistakes, and they paid for it, but Inter was so clinical. And then they go on and freaking lose the 2-0 lead, which at halftime, I was thinking, I've been watching Serie A my entire life. My entire life I've been watching, and I still haven't learned to know that anything could happen. I thought, Milan is not going to be strong enough to come back. But what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say.
I mean, to be honest, it was still the second half. I didn't have any doubts. Like, okay, there's still another half. Milan were playing pretty decent in the first half.
It wasn't Milan who really came back. It was
it was
Inter who lost.
You can say that. It's a little bit of both, to be honest.
Maybe Pioli.
Because, to be honest, up to the 82nd minute, it was still 2-0. And you're like, okay, Inter got this. They're jumping Milan in the table right now. They're going to be favorites. Pioli's going to be all good. Then out of nowhere, Suso gets a nice assist. Romagnoli pokes the ball in, past Handanovic. Just there, 2-1, game on. And there were still 7 minutes till extra time. And from there, the unthinkable happened. Zapata scored in the 97th minute when there was only 5 minutes added on extra time. So much controversy. They didn't even know if it was a goal or not. They waited for goal line technology to say it because the referee, it was correctly, it was a goal, but with the naked eye, there's no way you could have saw that.
Could you imagine if what happened with Muntadi's goal happened again in this derby with no goal line technology?
No one would have dropped it, right?
Not funny. We don't like to say that. But yeah, like Michael said, I think that he took out Eder for he took out Perisic for Eder. He took out João Mario. João Mario, one of the best players for Inter tonight, in my opinion. I know you saw it a little bit differently, but for me, the midfield was good. Nima also, we know his audio's messed up now.
Nima was pissed at Pioli.
He was pissed at Pioli, but he also credited the midfield, and he felt like they did a very good job today. Kondogbia, João Mario, and Gagliardini. He specifically noted how he did turn up, how great he's been since, the few mistakes that he made in the beginning, and then coming back into this one. And then the sheer power for Milan to continue to believe. And yes, Michael, you mentioned 5 minutes of extra time were given. There was, I think, a substitution in the 91st minute.
There was a little time wasting.
There was time wasting. Some people are saying that the 5 minutes didn't start until that 91st minute, and then they scored 97th. And I agree that the referees have been making mistakes in Serie A. Nima said this, I'll give him credit, that the Serie A referees this year have not been up to par. They've been making a lot of mistakes.
I mean, definitely not up to par, but you gotta understand, it's 5 minutes minimum, so he has to at least give 5 minutes. That doesn't mean you blow the whistle in that time.
What do you mean? Of course, 5 minutes extra time, 5 minutes.
No, 5 minutes minimum.
30 seconds a minute, 30 seconds for
there was time wasting also and a sub, so I didn't think it was that crazy. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't think it was that crazy.
That's why I'm a little skeptical why the Inter fans are like, oh, you should have blew it exactly.
I see it because you know how it is in that moment when it's your team and you're saying it's 97th minute, there's 5 minutes of extra time. He kept letting the play go.
So if you're going to stay on the floor for 20 minutes, you shouldn't count that time. It's still time wasted. The refs got to do it.
We should go back and time it. We should go back and time it. We should. We should see how long the time was.
There was time waste. That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, above this, Inter should never have lost the game that they were 2-0 down. But
they shoot themselves in the foot.
On the opposite side, for Milan to continue to believe until extra time was really up, it does say a lot about them. And this is something that I feel like I've been saying since that loss to Napoli 4-2 loss when we were in Philadelphia with our boys over there, that they have character, that Montell's teams have character. They continue to believe. They were playing good in the first half. They were unlucky to be 2-0 down. They were lucky to actually get that. You know, it was like the reverse. That's how football is sometimes. But credit to them, and this is a huge, massive win under the new ownership. I mean, to watch this kind of spectacle from the club that you just bought, and you see that the fight that they have, and yes, at times it was poor, and I think that Lapadula needed to come on earlier. I would have started him. I wanted to start with Suso, Delafou instead of Bacca, because Bacca does not move. He touched the ball as many times as, one second, I want to say this correctly. I think it was as many times as Locatelli at one point. Locatelli came in 57th minute, and there was a point where Locatelli had more touches than him. He's a midfielder, yes, but Bacca is too stale.
We talk about Bacca all the time. He doesn't get involved enough. He's too much of a poacher. He doesn't fall back and play defense. He just waits for the ball to come. He's a good finisher.
Sometimes it's good.
He's a good finisher, but he's got to be more involved with the plays, or it's just not going to work out.
This game, it was asking for... You could see the intensity from both of these teams from the start, but that intensity didn't come from Bacca. And from Delafou and Suso was quiet. He was quiet, we'll give him that. And Inter's fullbacks are very bad. I think D'Ambrosio was on the side of Delafou, so it doesn't say much, but Delafou's been doing this for a long time. And I think that they need help. They need help. AC Delafou can't do everything, and there needs to be a little bit more balance within the team. There needs to be a little bit more hunger. I think that they're going into a right direction. This game really doesn't mean that much. Nima said how he was actually happy. He thinks that it doesn't really matter because maybe even not getting Europa League is better because you don't play in this BS competition where Inter and Italian teams, to be honest, don't really care about. And then you just focus on what you want. Like we were just going to say, just to wrap things up real quick, there were reports from Corriere della Sera, a well-trusted source of ours. We've been to their offices. They don't make up BS. They really verify all of their sources. They said before this game that if Inter were to lose, that Pioli would be sacked. They tied, but they lost. That he lost this game in a poor manner. He lost the win in a very poor manner. We'll see what's going to happen with him, but it seems like unless they get a top manager, we don't know what's going to happen, and we don't know what's going to happen with the Sunni group and the vision that they want. But as for Milan's new owners, I think that they'll be really happy with what Montella has done. I think they've got character. They're trying to get into that Europa League. And overall, it was a great spectacle for the Serie A. Highly entertaining match. Not always of the most quality.
Not the most quality, but definitely excitement for sure. And I'm sure all the new Serie A fans, especially Major, because there was a lot of them, hopefully they stick around and keep watching.
Come on to IFTV. Maybe we'll learn how to speak Chinese or Indonesian. Indonesian fans are amazing. We're going to insert a video. Did you see them celebrating?
So much passion.
They're freaking crazy. We got to go to Indonesia and make a video. Anyway, guys, I know this is a little different type of video that we made. Again, the audio got messed up. And tomorrow's a really big day for us. Tomorrow, we're leaving. We're going to Italy. And we're going to be vlogging and doing a lot of stuff. So just check the video for tomorrow.
And social media.
And social media in general. Our Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. All along those platforms, we're going to have content rolling. And put your thoughts on everything that we had to say. We went through almost every game, gave our opinions, and yeah, thank you as always for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
Ciao, guys.